Hello everyone, welcome. Violet here, and happy almost full moon, full sturgeon moon in Aquarius, as well as Lammas or Lughnasadh if you are celebrating. So I had so much fun today creating a sort of combination spread of my Lammas spread, my ideas for Lammas, and my ideas for the Sturgeon full moon in Aquarius. And so we're putting them together because these are pretty much happening at the same time. The full moon, I believe, is this Tuesday, and Lammas or Lughnasadh is the 1st and the 2nd. So Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm going to have this reading available as like a special combo reading. And as you can see, we have a field. So imagine this is a field of flowers and plants and butterflies for summer. And then we've got a lake. Imagine this is the Sturgeon lake for the Sturgeon full moon. So this will be a collective reading. And if you like what you see, we will have this available for individual readings on my Ko-fi shop for the live stream tomorrow on Monday. And maybe on Twitch too on Wednesday, but I haven't quite decided yet. We're going to see, because I want that stream to be a lot of journaling. We're going to do a journaling stream on Twitch. But anyway, keep that in mind. And yeah, so let's get into the collective messages. What we're going to do is we're going to take our witch's runes and go ahead and harvest our messages from the field in terms of areas of this is going to determine the area of life and what it is that we have been growing and cultivating, and what at this time we may be experiencing as harvesting, as really kind of like bringing that forth and being able to enjoy what it is that we've cultivated. Or, you know, if there have been like challenges coming up, perhaps this is also the time in which these are coming up to the forefront. So we're going ahead and picking our harvest. All right, so we want to connect to this Lammas energy. This is for the collective at this time. All right. Okay. Ooh. Some of these are doubling up, actually. Wow. Okay, this is so interesting. So that's how we're going to pick those. And then we're actually going to use a pendulum and connect to that energy of air with Aquarius and pull from our Sturgeon lake for our next messages. But let me go ahead and begin to pull these out. So we actually have 3 runes that fell onto this card. We have the sun, we have conflict, and we have death. So the lighting is a little strange, but bear with me. Okay, let's take a look what our card is. Gratitude. And we have gratitude in reverse. It came out in reverse. That is so interesting to me. I feel like with this being the sun, and at the time of Lammas, when the sun is like so at the forefront, you know, if you're here in the northern hemisphere and you're experiencing, I mean, we've been experiencing like major heat waves. I feel like this is kind of like, this is the time when gratitude is also supposed to be really shining, because it's also like, hey, we're harvesting, you know, what it is that we've built. But I'm just getting the feeling with these 2 cards that there are a lot of people who feel like perhaps their gardens have died. I mean, literally, the plants that we planted at the beginning of summer, end of spring, haven't done so hot. I mean, we've been out of town and stuff. But anyway, just like literally in life, like that feels like it's happening. But I'm wondering also if like emotionally, I almost wonder if we kind of like maybe had a bigger vision for this time of where exactly we'd be. For me, it's more so about like how I would be feeling, and then realizing, okay, you know, I'm not quite feeling like that. I wonder if there's a little bit here, if this is sort of the crossroads actually that we're facing, is the fact that our expectations aren't meeting up with like what is actually reality at this time in this moment. But I do also feel like with the sun showing up here that it's saying, hey, wait a second, there is so much to be grateful for. So if I like looked at my life personally right now, for example, some of the things that were really in my intention and in my forefront as to like what I've been working on the past few months, those things have not actually reached the fruition that I would have wanted them to. However, I've had a couple incredible gifts and incredible new connections and incredible new like downloads and inspirations that I actually did not expect at all. And I wonder if there's a little bit here of a release and of a letting go of, it almost feels like the gratitude is what it needs to fully come in and fully root, which is, you know, necessary. Like feeling grateful for what we have and where we're at is really the basis and the starting point for building what it is that we do want to go towards. And it also is moment to moment, like what we're actually experiencing. So we're always in the present moment. And I think that that's important to say. But I feel like in order for this to fully come in and to fully shine, we also need to be connecting to what it is that maybe needs to release and like letting it release. So getting rid of some of those old expectations or maybe those like high bars that we set for ourselves, and maybe also realizing that, hey, you know, at the root of that, there is a point where these two crossroads, you can see that, these two crossroads meet. And maybe actually at the root of some of those things that we did have high expectations for ourselves for, and the things that have actually come into our lives, even though they're like moving in different directions and they may seem different, hey, they meet somewhere. I almost wonder if it's like, if we got down to the heart of why it was we were wanting to head in a certain direction, maybe we still do, and we're going to still keep like heading in that direction. But if we connect to that why, maybe it also meets up with what it is that we actually have experienced. Do you know what I mean? And that might be the heart of where this gratitude can take place. So that's interesting. And by the way, our flower is the bluebell and our butterfly is the brimstone, which looks so incredible in green. I realize our light is crazy today. It's funny because setting up the cards right here, I was like, oh, this is so lovely, because the light was just hitting my water and making rainbows. And the light was also hitting the candle, so it almost looked like the candle was lit even before it was lit. But now as I'm holding up the cards, I'm like, ah, that's not ideal. But there we go. Expectations versus reality. But maybe there's something in common there at the heart. So let's see. Let's look at our, speaking of heart, let's go to our heart-centered message. Now, this rune is upside down, face down. Let's take a look. And so is this card. I was thinking that would be as well. Sincerity. Sincerity is in reverse. Oh, you know what? And also with Venus being in retrograde right now, which I haven't fully let myself like dive into or delve into what that exactly means for me, but I've been experiencing it sort of on the surface in a lot of ways. So I have yet to fully kind of get into the depths of what the Venus retrograde means for me. The train is going by, so maybe it's saying, hey, it's time to look at that. But in terms of sincerity being in reverse, and this, it almost feels like something that's sort of hidden. I wonder if we've been feeling the distance. This is what's coming through. The distance between the face that we're asked to put on in society or for others, and the sincerity of where we actually are landing in our heart. And maybe usually we're able to sort of like walk with both of those and just know, okay, this is the energy I need to carry to either get this task done or to be polite or, you know, to connect with this person. But lately I feel like we've been feeling that gap. So we haven't fully resulted to just being sincere and saying exactly what it is. But we have been perhaps like having to force it a bit more, or like it just feels like, once again, it feels like a gap, feels like a distance. So in terms of harvest, I wonder if it's like this has been building up over time. This gap has been building up over time, and now it's just kind of getting into a very uncomfortable space. It's not as close together as maybe it once was, or it felt like it was. Either way, the distance between these two things have become more obvious. What we're kind of being asked to put forth and put on versus what we sincerely feel and connect to. So I feel like there's something here, like a message of starting to either root back into sincerity or finding a way for these things to start coming back together so that, is it possible to be genuine and assertive, but also polite, and also like not feel like you've lost control, maybe a way to stay controlled. So I wonder, I'm looking over here. So this is the harvest symbol, and it also is the earth symbol. If this might help us a bit with grounding. Pride. Oh my goodness. Okay, we've got the amaryllis, am I saying that right? And the gaudy commodore as our butterfly. By the way, this one was the chervil. Is that how you say it? The chervil with the lesser purple emperor as our. It's interesting too that this one like comes up reversed even when it's upright. It's like this dragon butterfly is facing downwards. Pride. I wonder if this is sort of like maybe the gap exists between the shadow side of pride versus the positive, the like nurturing, growing side of pride, where it's like, when you take pride in what you do and you like stand with a certain amount of like it's beyond confidence, it's like purpose. It's like, I know what my purpose is and I'm meeting it, and therefore I take pride in what I do, and I do it with integrity, I do it with sincerity. But then the shadow side of pride, and almost like, since this is upright and this one was face down, I almost feel like maybe they're kind of meeting each other here. The shadow side of pride would be off-putting to people, would be like, oh, this person thinks that they're better. This person's put themselves on this other like plane, and they're not even willing to like meet me. They think they're better than me, and you just like, people don't want to engage with that type of person. And so I wonder if there maybe this sincerity thing, it feels like one of two things. And I feel like there are two streams happening right now, and most people are falling into one or the other. And it feels like either the mask you're putting on has to be almost like a false sense of pride, or kind of putting yourself up above people in order to, like try to grasp at the respect that you're looking for, or the validation that you're looking for, or the power perhaps even that you're looking for. And then the other side of it is that maybe there are those of us that want to sort of shrink and don't want to fully like embody what it is, even if we feel like, okay, I know, like this is my purpose and I'm ready to embody it. This is kind of where I'm at right now. I've identified my purpose and I feel ready to embody it, but then at the same time I have this fear of like, oh, if I sort of start standing in this particular stream or this particular line of power that I want to, are people going to start being off-put by me? And do I need to shrink myself? Do I need to make myself like more, being humble is good, but almost like, do I need to humble myself, or do I need to make myself more invisible? And like, I feel like it's one of these two masks that we've been putting on, and these two cards feel like they're about showing that and identifying that gap, that distance, and saying, okay, like, how do you want to make these gaps come together? Or is there a side of this that you're like, this is no longer needed? Time to cut that away. Time to cut that particular expectation away, maybe with someone else's expectation of me, in order to fully stand in your power and stand in your light. And I also wonder, I'm thinking about the sun also being over here, of it's like, hey, if you're on that side of things, you will be grateful that you did. You will be grateful that you did that, you know? So now let's look at our message with air, especially since this is also landing on the Aquarius full moon and this is upright. Our message with air, what have we been harvesting? Memory in reverse. Okay, this feels like past lives. I myself have been beginning to be very, very interested. I've always been interested, but I've been very interested in actually uncovering and receiving the messages of what were my past lives? What were they telling me? What does it mean for me in this life? What have my dreams been telling me? What have little clues and things in my life? What have connections? What have certain ideas and downloads that have come? Like, how is this connected to past lives? And I feel like it's memory in reverse because these are memories that are somewhat locked away. We somewhat don't fully have access to them for whatever reason that may be. However, there are ways to unlock it. And to me, this is feeling like, and if you're not someone who resonates with past lives, it could also mean influences from like earlier in your life, maybe that you've sort of locked away, or like, okay, I don't need to touch that, or I'm going to say that that's not relevant for me, or maybe it's an unconscious thing. Perhaps it's unlocking those. But I feel like with air, this is about really bringing this to the surface of our mind and being able to understand them. Understand it with more clarity. Especially I'm connecting this with Aquarius as well, and especially in terms of figuring out what it is that we envision going towards. What change is it that we're wanting to make? We probably came into this life for a reason to make a change. You know what I mean? So what are those changes we want to make within ourselves? And then how does that reflect outward? And how can we stand in our power and make those changes outward? So if you are like me and have been feeling an inkling towards that, I feel like this is an affirmation in that direction. And let's see what our last card, we have 2 coming up. We've got the moon, talking about, cycles. We've actually got the water symbol in reverse. And so I'm going to guess that this is something we're resisting. It's a cycle maybe that's already started. I haven't even looked at the card yet, but I'm just going to imagine this is probably a cycle that's already started and that we've been in sort of resisting the flow and the push of it, even though we feel the flow and the push of it. Okay, so this is why it's coming up as like a harvest, is because this has kind of been building over time and it's time to start saying, okay, do we let this flood in, Let's see what it is. Truth. Whoa, truth. Bittersweet nightshade, it says. The truth is bittersweet. Oh my goodness. I wonder if this has to do with in looking at your past lives. For example, there is like, or, past memories, past selves, inner unconscious things. But in looking at these things, there's a bittersweet reality to it. It's not always pretty, but it is sweet because only once we get that truth can we start doing what we need to do with it. That's how I'm feeling with this. Bittersweet nightshade in the morning cloak. Once again, it feels like this sort of like it has a veil over it. It has protection. That's what it is. Protection. There's protection surrounding it. Why? It needs that protection. So, how is it that we can bring ourselves into the state in which we're ready to receive that information and know that we're protected by the energy that we are carrying? I think that's what wants to come through here. Okay, let's get out the pendulum and let's take a look at I'll set these just a little bit to the side, but they're still here. We're moving from our field towards our full moon lake, and it's in a circle. It's reflecting the moon from above. This is our Sturgeon lake for the Sturgeon full moon. And what I love about this too is that, we've left Cancer season and we're in Leo season. And in Leo season, I think a lot about expression and creativity, but also like you're drawing from the water, you're drawing from that imaginative realm. And to me, Aquarius also like aligns with this too, because I think of ideas, and in the air element, I think of like maybe, for example, if you're expressing yourself using your voice, it's like what is going to carry this forth? This is like the vehicle, perhaps. That's how I'm seeing it, at least. So, by the way, you all, please let me know if you're resonating with this. Be sure to like the video and comment in the comments. All right, let's do it. So, all right, so I want to connect to the energy of Aquarius here. In this Aquarius full moon, to bring forth what it is we need to receive. We're going to receive 2 cards from this lake. So I asked the pendulum to find a straight line between 2 cards to help tell us what it is we most need to hear, what it is we want to birth forth and begin to create into the world. Okay. So I definitely see it going back and forth. I kind of feel like it's going between this card and this card. Okay. This card and this card. Riptide Tunnel, course correct. Oh, and then we turn this one around. Oh my goodness. The Sea Goddess of Courage. Wow. Okay, so Riptide Tunnel, it says course correct. So we're correcting something and we're turning the boat into perhaps embodying the Sea Goddess of Courage. Authentic communication, it says. I'm like getting chills because I know exactly what this is talking about with me. Wow. Okay, so let's connect to the collective message with this one. Booklet, where are you? There it is. All right, so let's get our message for Riptide Tunnel. It is number 3. It says, I may not have known what I did not know. I've forgiven myself and others, and I do everything in my power to stay conscious of my action and inaction in all areas of my life, so I can be the best version of myself and not be swept away by unconsciousness. So it feels to me like, all right, I realize that a change needs to happen, but I also forgive myself for not knowing this before and not already kind of like doing that before. It's like, this is not a time to be thinking backwards in that way. This is a time to think forwards. It says, when you activate the Riptide Tunnel, you will be pulled in by the magnetic swirling force as a recalibration of the soul is required. Getting out of the Riptide is imperative if you want to not only survive, but thrive. Your chosen life mission needs your attention. I knew it! What pathways are you traveling down? Don't drift away into unconsciousness. Stay alert. Each moment and each action you take or avoid is a step on your journey. That's interesting, thinking of avoiding as being a step. I feel like it's time, like we're ready to hear that now. It's okay, we didn't realize before that in avoiding fully embodying our purpose and our path, that was actually like, that was an action. We were just kind of putting something off here. Now this is saying, all right, now that you know, this is an action and it's now from now on, like this is a decision you make. You know what I mean? Okay. Mindfully create your reality and don't allow yourself to be carried away by the Riptide Tunnel. Claim your power and inner strength as your life depends on it. I realize it's some very powerful language there, but it feels to me like the Riptide Tunnel, what it's talking about, what you could get carried away by, which is unconsciousness, is the sort of herd mind thinking of other people, of a collective, of a community, of a particular group, or whatever it might be. I feel like this is like if you allow yourself to just be sort of unconscious, you're going to be swept away by the forces of what kind of everyone else is doing. And majority of people are doing that. That's what they follow. They don't really think about it. So this is saying, no, it is time to think about it. Now that you know, and it's okay if you didn't know before, but now that you know, it's a choice to decide to be unconscious and a choice to decide to just follow everyone else. Doesn't mean that people are all like, it doesn't mean that other people are doing the wrong thing. What it means is that it's important to connect with what's authentic to you and always know that you're making this decision from you. So then we step into the sea goddess of courage, because I'm pretty sure that it's going to take courage to follow that path. Authentic communication. So let's see what that message is. And this is number 26. Your affirmation is, I believe that my spirit knows the way, and I trust my intuition. I am fueled by courage when I am unsure. I am divine alignment with my whole being, and I speak my authentic truth, which opens the floodgates of infinite possibilities into my life. It says, I am appearing to you as a sign from your deep soul calling for comfort and compassion as you step into a new chapter of your life. Wow. I know where this is landing for me, so please let me know if you know where this is landing for you, because it really, I'm really feeling it. You have been ready for this for a long time, and although knowing this doesn't make it easier, it does affirm that you are a powerful manifester and now need to embody the frequencies of courage. Once again, it's like, I feel like it is connected to this, looking towards what it is we have been building and building up to, this like Lammas harvest energy. Because we take this and then we prepare for the next step. It feels like it's kind of saying a similar thing in that, you actually have been called to do this and ready for it for a while. And not to say that you've made a mistake by not doing it yet. That's not what it's saying, but it's acknowledging that, okay, now it is time. Those old excuses, they can't be excuses anymore. And in waiting until this time was probably a part of the journey. So it's not for nothing, but now it is time now. That's really what I'm feeling here. It is deep within you and can come to the surface when you thought it was non-existent. This is talking about the energy of courage. Trust and allow me to support you through whatever it is you're moving through. I am here to guide you, and I'm sending you waves of courage to take extraordinary leaps of faith towards your inner truth. That feels like spirit, your guides, the universe is basically saying, I'm here, I'm on your side, I'm taking your hand. You have to take the step, but I'm taking every step there with you, and I'm supporting you. So personally, I'm going to have to sit with this because, like I said, I know what it's hitting at for me. So please let me know if you resonate with this. And also happy full moon, blessed Lammas, blessed Lughnasadh. If you don't know what Lammas is, I do have a video. I'll link it at the end so you can check out some of my thoughts about Lammas and this special holiday. But otherwise, thank you all so much for being here with this video. I would love to hear what you think. Please like and subscribe. And I will see you next time.